I'm Jane Copier, and you're listening to Happy in the Middle, a podcast for Christian women who want to make the second half of life the best half. This podcast is all about helping women to reignite their spark and step into their divine power in order to create deep and connected relationships and also find that fulfillment and satisfaction they crave. So, if you're ready to grow, join me and learn how you too can overcome guilt, resentment, disappointment, and enjoy the fruits of creating a life well lived. Let's go. Welcome back to Happy in the Middle. This is episode number 117, How to Stop Rushing In to Save Your Adult Children. How are you, my friends? I'm so glad you're here today. I have such a helpful topic for you. But first, I promised to tell you about our weekend in LA. And my friends, I got to tell you, it was absolutely perfect in every way. For those of you who missed last week's episode, I shared that our son and his fiance are being married this summer in Tuscany. They are doing a destination wedding, which is a tradition in her family. She and her sisters, well, she and one sister are both actresses, and it's just what they do. So we are super excited for that. But in the meantime, because of legalities, they had to be married here in the US first. So this past weekend, we traveled to Burbank, where they live, and their ceremony was on Valentine's Day. And before I tell you what they did, I kind of have to back up a minute, help you understand our son a little bit. This guy, he's just gorgeous. He's 6'6" tall. He was honestly born in the wrong era. He's like this Viking. He looks like a Viking and he has that Viking heart. I swear he was born with a sword in his hands. When he was just a teeny baby, even just barely learning to walk, he would carry around those. Did you have those little plastic golf clubs? We had a set and he would call them his swords and he would carry them with him everywhere and he would sleep with them. And as he grew up, he would take these PVC pipes in our backyard and and his friends would turn them into medieval weapons and they would hold wars in our backyard and film them. And I could just tell you story after story about him and this passion of his. He definitely has the heart of a warrior and a protector. And anyway, they planned their whole ceremony around this medieval theme, and we all dressed up. And he and Hunter rented these costumes from a movie studio, and the two of them looked like they just stepped out of the Lord of the Rings filming set. They were absolutely stunning. And it was just so much fun to see the whole wedding party and what each person had chosen to wear. My husband and I dressed as the king and queen, obviously, because, if she's going to marry the prince, his parents have to be royalty, right? So anyway, we spent the entire day celebrating with them. And in the afternoon, they had rented this huge party bus to take us to medieval times for the dinner and show there. It was just a truly epic day, and none of us are ever going to forget it. We laughed, we cried. We were even entertained by our son Casey, who played his role of the court jester just perfectly. And I just want to give a huge shout out to the King family. They were as warm and loving and joyful as could be. And we had such a wonderful time getting to know all of them better. We love them to pieces. Italy is going to be off the hook, and I can't wait. Shout out to Grandma Elaine, who listens to my podcast. Elaine, we love you guys so much. And thank you for making it such a wonderful weekend. All right, shall we get to our topic? Enough about me, right? Our topic today is actually inspired by a conversation with one of my clients this week, and it's such an important conversation. I think it touches every parent at one time or another. And especially in this day and age where I feel like our kids are maturing and moving toward independence more slowly, things are more expensive. The economy is tough and housing is not as affordable as it was when we were young and newly married. But at some point, all of us have to answer the question, when do I help and when do I step back? If you've ever felt torn between wanting to rescue your child and wanting them to become strong and independent, you are not alone. So today we're going to talk about how to know when to stop rushing in to save them, what actually helps adult children grow into confident, capable people, the true role of parents while watching their children struggle, and how to say no in a way that's still loving and warm and encouraging. So Let's dive into this together. First, let's just tell the truth. Watching your child struggle hurts. It doesn't matter if they're 5 or 15 or 35. When they're in pain, I know as a mama, every instinct in your body says, fix it, help them, make it better. That instinct isn't wrong, right? It is love, it's protection, it is the heart of motherhood, the way that we were wired. And here's the truth we don't talk about enough. What helps a child survive is not always what helps an adult child grow. And this is where so many loving parents get stuck because rescuing feels kind in the moment, but long term, it can communicate the wrong messages. It says, you can't handle this. Life is too hard for you. Someone else will always solve your problems. And those messages, though unintentional, keep our kids small. Not because we don't love them, but because we love them so much, our judgment gets clouded. So here's what experts say adult children actually need. Experts who do research in psychology and human development consistently find that resilience grows through struggle, not rescue. Confidence doesn't come from life being easy. It comes from solving problems, learning how to recover from mistakes, learning how to figure things out, learning that they're capable. In other words, struggle is not the enemy of your child's happiness. It's often the path to it. And man, I know this is hard to hear as a mom because we would gladly carry the pain for them if we could. But one of the most loving truths about parenting adults is this: your job is no longer to remove their struggle. That's not our work to do anymore. Your job is to believe they are strong enough to walk through it, to do hard things, to figure it out on their own. If you can create that shift in your own mind, you're on your way to making the important changes that your kids need. I think part of the problem is figuring out the difference between healthy support and unhelpful rescuing. Here's a simple question to ask yourself when you butt up against this situation. Will my help build their strength or replace their responsibility? Okay, I'm going to repeat this again. Will my help build their strength or replace their responsibility? That question is gold because sometimes help is appropriate. Sometimes support is loving. But if your involvement keeps them from making decisions, facing consequences, learning life skills, developing resilience, then what feels like love today can create even deeper dependence tomorrow. I love Galatians 6:5 says, every man shall bear his own burden. It does not say every mom should bear the burdens of all their children. It's just not a truth, right? Another sign that it might be time to step back is if you are feeling exhausted or overwhelmed or resentful or responsible for their life. Those emotions are often signals that the boundary lines have gotten a little blurry. Boundaries are so important for creating clarity. They improve the health of a relationship by clearly defining what belongs to me, what belongs to you. Boundaries are love in adult form. So don't fear boundaries. They are healthy for you. Your role as a parent has to shift as your children age. When children are little, we are the managers of their lives, right? I remember when my kids were little and I planned their calendar. I planned their schedule. I created their napping schedule. They ate when I told them to eat, right? Like they rely on us for survival. And that feeling of being needed is so dang validating to us. We take good care of those babies. We think that's like, oh, I'm such a good mom. We think thoughts like, my kids are everything to me. I'll do anything for them. And when they're young, those thoughts are probably okay. But when they become adults, our roles shift to something even more beautiful, if we'll take that challenge. It's like taking one hat off, being the manager, being the provider, being the decision maker. And now instead of being their savior and protector, we become mentors and witnesses. We free them to exercise their own agency and to learn how to be creators in their own lives. Our role is no longer controller. No longer rescuer, no longer problem solver. We are witnesses. We stand nearby. We believe in them. We offer wisdom when invited. We love them. We trust the growth process unfolding in their lives. And I know from experience, and I'm still learning this in some cases, this new role requires enormous faith because sometimes they will choose differently than we would. They will struggle longer than we want them to. They might learn lessons the hard way. And sometimes they might even beg you to be the fixer again. But we can't go back. It's not appropriate to go back to our former role. Hard lessons often create strong adults. And strong adults are what we're hoping to raise all along. That's the goal. I love this quote by C.S. Lewis. He says, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. What are you robbing your kid of when you step in to fix something that they could have grown from learning to fix themselves? If you've ever seen an inspiring movie where that main character has to go through a grueling or sometimes even a brutal adventure, and then they arise in the end as the hero, the conqueror, you know this is true. I have so many heroes in my own life that I can look to for this example. They've overcome incredible hardships to become amazing, strong human beings. My grandparents are some of those people, right? They had difficult lives, they had difficult circumstances, but they grew strong. They were tough, right? They were warriors. My grandma Vella was this way. She sowed belief in me and she really pushed me to strive. I owe her so much. Her belief in me was just the medicine that I needed in so many circumstances in my life. Okay, let's talk about the hardest part, saying no. Because most of us believe that good moms don't say no, right? We don't like that word. It feels harsh. It feels cold. It might feel uncaring or unloving. But a boundary, when we speak it from a place of love and genuine concern for what is best for our child, is one of the most loving gifts that we can give. But here's the key. When you set a boundary, when you sit down with your child and explain to them that things are going to shift, it's time for a change. It's so important to lead with empathy. Say things like, I love you. I can see that this is really hard. I'm sorry for your struggle, right? And then you want to express confidence in them. I believe in you. You have the power to do this. You have the capacity. You can grow stronger. I trust you to figure this out. That belief that you give to another person is everything. Helping them to grow that confidence and to believe in themselves will propel them forward in so many ways. And then once you've set a boundary, you hold that boundary kindly. And you can say things like, as much as I want to help you, I know that this trial is for you and it's yours to work through. And because I love you so deeply, I cannot fix this for you. But I will always be here to be a sounding board and to support you through it. Do you hear the difference? There's no shame, no rejection, just love and belief and clarity about what belongs to me and what belongs to them. Sometimes the most powerful sentence a parent can say is, I know you can do hard things. Because confidence borrowed from a parent often becomes confidence that is owned by the child, and they need it. There's a lovely quote by Harding Carter that says, there are two lasting bequests we can give our children. One is roots, the other is wings. Don't clip their wings by making life too easy. I remember in first grade, our teacher had an incubator in our classroom, and we watched as she put these eggs in there, and they sat in that warmth. And then we got to watch as the baby chicks hatched from them. And I would see their struggle. They would peck at that shell for exhausting hours on end. And I remember just wanting to help them so badly. I remember thinking how easy it would be to just reach in and grab a piece of that shell away and make it so much easier for them to get free. But our wise teacher explained that if we did that, that baby chick would not survive. They needed to build their strength by going through the struggle of freeing themselves. And the same is true for our kids. It's easy to feel heartbroken as we watch them struggle. I have gone through this so many times. Like me, you might lie awake at night. You might pray for them constantly. You might wonder if you're doing the wrong thing. And certainly it is true that different kids will experience different struggles and may continue to need help into adulthood because of their challenges. I can't tell you what the right answer is across the board, but I want to give you a few questions to consider as you bump up against these choices. When you feel that urge to help, I think it's so important to get really clear about your motivation. You have to ask yourself, why do I want to help? Sometimes it's to feel the validation of being the hero rescuer. And if that's the case, you know that is time to take a step back, right? If it might be that you just can't tolerate the discomfort of watching them struggle. So ask yourself, what is it that I want to feel here? Right? If I'm trying to fix things because I can't handle them struggling, I know that it's important for me to sit in that discomfort and trust that they will figure it out. Another question is my helping in the best interest of my kid? It might seem like the right answer in the short term, but we have to widen the angle, increase our perspective. What will they lose in the long run if I help? Okay, another question is, what am I fixing? What am I actually fixing? Am I just putting a Band-Aid on something? And what are the ramifications for them in the end if I do this fixing now? Every human being has their own classroom, and they must take their own tests. If we take those tests for our kids, that same test will appear for them over and over again until they come up with the answers on their own. Isn't it kinder to let them go through the test the first time than have to take it over and over and over again? This is the bravest kind of love, to trust God to work in your child's life in ways that you cannot control. In 1 John 3:18, it says, "Let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." You're not abandoning your kid when you allow them to struggle. What you are doing is exercising your faith and allowing them to become who they were meant to be. So if you're in that tender space right now, I know so many of us are, and you're trying to figure out when to help and when to step back, here's what I hope you remember. I hope you remember that the greatest gift you can give someone is the strength to solve their own problems. That's being a good mother. Let wisdom lead you. Pray for inspiration to know what's best, and then believe in your kids. Believe in their strength. Believe that growth is happening even as you watch them struggle to peck through that shell. Another quote I love by C.S. Lewis says, "Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good." That's what we want, their ultimate good, not relief in the moment, even though that is so tempting at times. And sometimes that means saying no. So much love to you, mamas. I hear you, I see you, I support you, and you're doing so much better than you think you are. Thank you for being here today. If this episode is helpful for you, please share it with another mama who might need some encouragement in this area too. And if you're walking through a difficult season with one of your kiddos, I'd be honored to support you. Please reach out and book a free call with me. Okay, my beautiful friend, take care. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye now. Hey, if you are ready to get unstuck and make your midlife amazing, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. And I want to invite you to join my Empty Nest Academy, where you will learn how to transform your mind, your relationships, and your life. Come free yourself of regret and disappointment and be so much happier. Listen, sis, we've got one shot at this big, beautiful life. Let's make it amazing. Go to janecopier.com, that's JaneCopier.com, and sign up today. And if you're not sure what's right for you, book a free consultation with me and we'll talk it over together. And we'll make sure to get you on the path that serves you the best. See you inside.